Welcome to our deep dive into the world of the Berserker warriors of Viking lore. Have you ever heard of these legendary fighters? Did you know that they were known to fight with such ferocity that they were believed to be invincible? Berserkers were a unique and fascinating part of Viking society, known for their wild abandon and supernatural abilities on the battlefield. But who were they, and where did they come from? Join us as we explore the origins, tactics, and legacy of these legendary warriors and discover what made them such a formidable force in Viking history. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Now, let's get into it. The origin of Berserkers. The word Berserker is a term that evokes images of ferocious Viking warriors screaming at the top of their lungs as they charge into battle with reckless abandon. But where does this word come from, and what is its connection to Viking mythology? Berserker comes from the Old Norse word Berserker, which means bear shirt. But why bear shirt, you may ask? Well, according to Norse mythology, berserkers were warriors who would wear the skin of a bear or wolf into battle, believing that it would grant them the strength and ferocity of these violent animals. But the origins of the word go deeper than just a simple animal skin. The word berserker is derived from two Old Norse words, bera, meaning to bear, and serker, meaning shirt or coat. So a berserker was someone who wore a bear shirt. However, the connection between the berserkers and Norse mythology goes even further than that. According to legend, the berserkers were considered to be Odin's elite warriors, chosen by the god himself to fight on the front lines of battle. They were said to possess supernatural strength and endurance, as well as an immunity to iron and fire. But their powers came with a price. In order to enter what would be called the Berserker Rage, the warriors would consume a hallucinogenic drink made from the Amanita muscaria mushroom. This would send them into a frenzy where they would become uncontrollable and violent, even turning on their own allies. According to Norse mythology, these fierce fighters were believed to have a divine connection to the god Odin, who was revered as the king of the gods and the god of war, among other things. One theory about the Berserkers' origins is that they were Odin's chosen warriors, hand-picked to fight in his name and to embody his ferocity and strength on the battlefield. It was said that Odin himself would sometimes possess the minds and bodies of the Berserkers, allowing them to fight with otherworldly power and intensity. Another theory suggests that the Berserkers may have been members of a cult or secret society that worshipped Odin and sought to emulate his fierce and unpredictable nature. These warriors would have undergone intense physical and mental training to prepare themselves for battle, including practices such as fasting, meditation, and ritual sacrifice. Whatever their origins, the Berserkers became legendary figures in Viking society and were feared and respected by their enemies. Their association with Odin only added to their mystique and made them even more feared and revered. It was believed that the mere sight of a berserker on the battlefield was enough to strike fear into the hearts of their enemies and cause them to flee in terror. The berserkers' wild and unpredictable nature made them fearsome opponents, and their connection to Odin only added to their power and mystique. The Berserker Rage. The infamous Berserker Rage. A phenomenon so intense and terrifying that it could strike fear into the hearts of even the bravest of warriors. But what exactly was this rage, and how did it enhance the fighting abilities of these legendary warriors? Well, the Berserker Rage was a state of extreme frenzy and ferocity that was said to overcome the berserkers during battle. In this state, they would become almost superhuman, possessed by an otherworldly strength and an almost uncontrollable bloodlust. It was said that they could take on multiple opponents at once, shrug off even the most serious of wounds, and fight with a speed and agility that defied belief. What caused this rage, you ask? Well, there are several possible factors that could have contributed to it. Some scholars believe that it was a psychological state brought on by the intense stress and adrenaline of battle, as well as the belief in their own invincibility and divine connection to Odin. Others believe that it was a cultural phenomenon, fueled by the myths and legends surrounding the Berserkers and their association with the god of war. In this view, the Berserker Rage was a kind of ritualized behavior, a way of embodying the spirit of Odin and demonstrating one's devotion to the god of war. Others believe that the Berserker Rage was pharmacologically induced, brought on by the consumption of hallucinogenic mushrooms or the ingestion of large quantities of mead. These substances were believed to have the power to enhance strength and bravery, as well as induce a state of altered consciousness that could make the Berserkers far more formidable opponents. Whatever the case, there is absolutely no denying the power and ferocity of the Berserker Rage. It was a state of mind that allowed these legendary warriors to tap into their primal instincts and unleash a fury that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Even today, the concept of Berserker Rage continues to captivate and intrigue us, a testament to the enduring power of Viking mythology and the human fascination with tales of heroism and epic battles. Let's now talk about the Berserker warriors during battle. When it comes to Viking warfare, the Berserkers were a force to be reckoned with. These legendary warriors were known for their ferocity and fearlessness on the battlefield, as well as their ability to strike fear into the hearts of their enemies. One of the key tactics employed by the Berserkers was to charge headlong into battle, often without any kind of armor or protective gear. They would enter a state of frenzied rage, fueled by their devotion to Odin and their belief in their invincibility. In this state, they would become almost unstoppable, fighting with a wild abandon that could overwhelm even the most disciplined and organized enemy. But the Berserkers were more than just mindless brutes. They were also highly skilled fighters, capable of using a variety of weapons and tactics to devastating effect. They were known for their lightning-fast strikes, their ability to take on multiple opponents at once, and their almost supernatural agility and speed. Perhaps the most famous anecdote about the Berserkers in action comes from the Battle of Stamford Bridge in 1066. According to legend, a single Berserker held off an entire English army at the bridge, using only a battle axe to fend off wave after wave of attackers. Despite being severely outnumbered, this Berserker fought on, cutting down his enemies with a ferocity and skill that left even his comrades in awe. Another famous account comes from the Battle of Clontarf in 1014, where the Irish king Brian Boru is said to have faced off against a group of Berserkers. According to this legend, the Berserkers were so fearsome that they had to be lured into a trap where they were ambushed and killed by Boru's forces. Despite their defeat, however, the Berserkers had left a lasting impression on the battlefield, and their reputation only grew in the years to come. Moving on, let's talk about the Berserker Legacy. The legacy of the Berserker warriors is a fascinating one, full of twists and turns that have captured the imagination of people for centuries. From their fearsome reputation on the battlefield to their mysterious disappearance, the Berserkers have left an indelible mark on Viking mythology and popular culture. But despite their fearsome reputation, the Berserkers eventually declined in number and disappeared from the Viking world. Many factors contributed to this decline, including the changing nature of warfare, the rise of Christianity, and the gradual shift away from pagan beliefs. As Viking society became more settled and organized, the need for wild and unpredictable fighters like the Berserkers had diminished. The rise of Christianity also played a role, as many Viking warriors began to embrace this new religion and abandon their old pagan beliefs. With the decline of pagan rituals and beliefs, the role of the Berserkers became less prominent, and they gradually faded from view. Despite their disappearance, the legacy of the Berserkers has endured. Their fearsome reputation and mysterious powers have captured the imagination of people for centuries, and they will continue to be a popular subject in movies, TV shows, and literature. The Berserker warriors were a unique and fascinating part of Viking society, whose fearsome reputation on the battlefield and mysterious powers have captured the imagination of people for centuries. We've now explored their origins, their role in Viking warfare, and their legacy in pop culture. The Berserkers were not just mindless brutes, but skilled and disciplined fighters who were capable of using a variety of weapons and tactics to devastating effect. They were known for their wild abandon and supernatural abilities, but also their ferocity and skill in battle. Their decline can be attributed to several factors, including the changing nature of warfare, the rise of Christianity, and the gradual shift away from pagan beliefs. But despite their disappearance, their legacy has endured, and they continue to be a popular subject in movies, TV shows, and literature. As we've explored the fearsome warriors of the Viking Age, we've seen their incredible skills in battle, their relentless spirit, and their impact on the world. But the story doesn't end here. In fact, there's a fascinating chapter in Viking history that's still yet to be uncovered. What happened to these legendary warriors after they crossed paths with the Native Americans? Did they continue their conquests, or did they meet their match? In our next video, we'll dive deep into this intriguing mystery and reveal the fate of the Vikings after their showdown with the Native Americans. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a thing. We'll see you there.